It doesn't really seem to change its trajectory too much. Man, this is not good for me. This is why I try not to do demo rides.
All right, quick intro in the truck on Route 7, flying down to Woodford. Got invited or accepted or whatever, filled out a form, got a call. Lynx demo ride down here in Woodford, A-Z Snowmobiles or A-Z parking lot, something along those lines. Tail end of a cold here, a little head congestion, so if I sound a little nasally, sorry for that, but can't do anything about it. So yeah, that's kind of what this video is going to be and what today is. I'm cruising down here to hop on this little demo program ride thing. I have no idea if it's fast, if it's good, if it's a 5 mile an hour through the woods. No clue what to expect. Didn't really get a lot of info. There was a Lynx Facebook page post, submitted the little pre-fill form jobby, and then I got a call 2 days ago that said, yeah, you're accepted, you got to go at this time to this place and whatever. So let's see what it is. Should be cool. Hopefully it's cool. I don't know. Haven't been able to link up with Pat really. It's been a tough year getting our schedules aligned to ride and stuff, so I haven't tried his Xterrain 900R yet. So hopefully I get to try one down here or see what else they've got. I don't know. Don't really know much about it. Maybe I'm going to get there and get bonked on the head in the woods or something. Who knows? We'll see. Oh boy, big day. Did not expect this here. Whew. VIN number 001. Little first sled action here. Oof. Yeah, didn't even know they were going to have one of these here. Originally came down to ride the Xterrain with the 900 in it, but this is here, and I said, oh boy, we got to get on this. So for warmers, one press comes up on hand, up or down arrows here, hit it again, it goes to the thumb, up or down arrows there, and then you leave it, and that sets them where they need to be. Still in break-in, like Devaney said, probably 55, maybe 60 miles on this thing. So you guys know the deal with break-in. So this is the regular XRS one, not the competition package. So we have the standard Pro 40s with the integral adjust on the ski shocks, and I believe the rear track shock. The front track shock, or the center, I believe, is still just like an EA3 easy adjust. If you go for the competition package version of this sled, in the yellow, you get the Kashima Pro 40s everywhere with the integral adjust on all 4 positions, as well as pull start only.
Can we take a picture of you?
Yeah, that would actually be perfect. Oh yeah. You can kind of tell already the throttle feels like relatively light in terms of the spring pressure on the throttle bodies itself, but just listen to this thing. You can tell once this is at a break-in, it is going to be one responsive little unit. That's cool. Let's see how this whole package goes. Alright, at this little cruiser pace right here, it's very smooth. The like engine harmonics and vibration is pretty much non-existent. Like you get a little bit tiny whisper of a buzz in your feet, but nothing compared to some other models and other sleds and things like that. It's very smooth. That's pretty cool. Classic kind of rip-saw braking right there in this super loose stuff. It just Just kind of locks up a little bit, but that's expected. That might be a little bit of a bummer in terms of testing some stuff out here. The ripsaw, we got quite a bit of loose stuff. There's probably 4 or 5 inches of fresh snow on here. So in terms of our acceleration and braking traction, we're not going to really have great feedback on that, or impressions rather, but it is going to be very, very snappy and responsive once it's out of braking. Trying to take everything in and note everything, like right there I was able to it kind of put me off of the seat a little bit, came back down. You definitely do notice that this seat is firmer than kind of the standard XRS ones of the past that have kind of felt, to me, a little bit on the soft side. Coming from Polaris stuff and then the Catalyst, this seat feels kind of right between the Polaris and the Skidoo. So if you're familiar with like some of the firmer Polaris seats, some of the firmer Polaris seats in comparison to the Skidoo ones, this is kind of a good balance right in the middle, where it's firm enough that I don't feel like I'm sinking into it. I can move around on it really good. The extra flatness to it feels really good. I don't think it's going to wear me out on a long day or anything. It's not that firm, but it kind of feels just right, if that makes any sense. If you sit towards the rear of it, you can really feel it being wider back there, but the taper at the front feels really good. I think they did a good job with that seat. That's actually kind of impressing me a lot now that I'm thinking about it. So we're falling into rusty ski tracks here a little bit, not necessarily darting around, but we are kind of locking into that a little bit. But other than that, it has felt very, very stable in this loose stuff. It's not doing normal, what I would consider normal or previous Gen 4, Gen 5 kind of nervousness tendencies. It feels very solid, very stable, which is nice. That is nice to see. It's also, we're not really wicking it up, so it's not my normal ride pace, I guess, if you want to say that. The response from the brake right there, like even though we don't have a ton of traction, the ability to just tap the brake, set the front, and it turned in was really nice. I like to see that. I feel like Gen 4s that I've ridden in the past, or even like early Gen 5 XRSs, never really did that. They didn't respond in that way, which could just be the shock package and the spring calibration as well, but that felt really good right there. I do wish we had a little more hard pack than this fresh stuff, but that's what we're dealt. We can't really change that too much. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna be a fun little unit. I mean, we're not out of break-in, we're in super loose stuff, and that was probably 3/4 throttle. It feels very light. I believe, I actually did not look to see if this is a 137 or a 129, but it does feel incredibly light in this stuff. It doesn't feel like it's steering heavy, but again, 4 to 5 inches of loose snow on top is kind of almost perfect for this Raz RX ski that we got on here. It is responsive. Even in this stuff, like, it doesn't have a punch, it doesn't have a grunt to it, like a ton of torque, but it's moving the sled along at a really good pace right there. Like, I come up on Rusty pretty quick. It's not, obviously it's a 600, it's not going to be an 850 or a 4-stroke punch in the bottom there, but it's going pretty good for what the snow conditions are with a regular ripsaw on it. The new seat is actually incredible. It really, has transformed how this chassis feels. I normally in the past feel like they're very wide and that like I'm on top of a dolphin. This new seat is actually really big. It doesn't sound like much on paper, but out here riding it and feeling this seat, this is big. I feel like riding this, I could fire this thing into whatever, and if I have to, I get on the brake, it's gonna turn. I don't know. This is this might not be good for me right now. It's very confidence inspiring so far. Hop on the old 900. This is what I originally came down for, but that's way cooler currently in my mind. But the old toe closeouts, that's gonna bug me, but that's okay. Big change up here. All right, so this has the other control: button up, button go to thumb up, and then lock it in. Nope, we just leave it. Or do we hit okay? Hit okay. It pushes a lot in this stuff. I mean, we got a 146 and a pretty aggressive ski, so it's mostly that 1.6 digging in, but it was very manageable so far. Like, it's not wanting to light and rip my arms off. You can kind of just cruise it docile. Getting the feeling on this, like I don't think it's a necessity, but just the seating position and stuff of this makes me feel like I want to be moving around a lot more, and it's so easy to move around that it like just feels natural to come into the corner and just kind of slide over a little bit, which I think is a good thing. It kind of gets you prepped in case you do need to, but it's impressive how natural it feels. Right there was crazy. The back kind of slid around a little bit, which again, we have so much loose snow on top. Quite a bit firmer on the little bumps compared, but again, we don't really know where any of these shock settings are. At least I don't. Ooh. I do wish it was firm, kind of locked in hard pack, because I'd be real curious if this starts to feel really heavy, because as of right now, this thing does not feel that big. Initially, when I got on and went to steer it, the steering effort was quite a bit more at those lower speeds than that 600RR XRS. But out here, cruising on this thing does not feel like a 900R 146. It feels like a Gen 4 137 Renegade, really. Like it's, I don't know. I mean, you do know it's bigger, but it's not like overwhelmingly like, oh, I'm moving a tank around. It is actually kind of nice. It's like stability within, yeah. Stability and accelerating. It doesn't feel like, how am I trying to word this here? Man, this is not good for me. This is why I try not to do demo rides, because then I'm like, man, I need all this. I need all of them. This right here at this pace is incredibly comfortable. Like it's taking zero effort to just kind of sit here and cruise on this, and it's really quite comfortable. I feel like this is probably ideal conditions for this thing though, with the loose snow on top. We're kind of at that right pace where it's fast enough to where it will go through and glide through the corners, None of this stuff is incredibly tight and twisty. This is kind of where like this thing probably shines. But I do wonder on really, really hard pack if it gets locked in and then starts to feel heavy. The brake on the XRS feels way, way better, and I don't exactly know why. It could potentially be lighter. It could be the track rotation. You know, you have more rotating mass on this with the bigger track. It's going to be harder for the brake to stop all of that. It's not that it feels bad. It's just that that XRS brake feels really, really good. Oh, what mode am I in? That's what's going on. Hang on. Aha! I wish it did the wappa wappa like the 1200 does. I missed that. I wanted wappa wappa. Had to put it in sport mode. I forgot. I'm sitting here and I'm like, why is this not responding like I thought it would? And I'm like, oh, it's in normal. Got it. That'll make a difference. A couple of those straightaways when I grabbed after it, I thought there would be more. Normal mode will get us. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So that's what you got the modes for, so that you can be nice and like normal and docile and cruise around, and then we can put it in this, and it's light years different. It is now lighting and wanting to pull me off like I thought it would. You can see it in the response. Yeah, okay, sick. That's awesome. I had my 900 turbo, and I don't remember it being that drastically different between the modes. But that's sweet. I've also never ridden this area of Woodford. This is really cool to get down here and experience this. This stuff is sweet. I've ridden Dover and similar southern areas, but not this exact Woodford location here. The small grip handlebars are really nice. I just kind of noticed and touched on that. But it took me this long to like notice it, to make a mental note and be like, oh yeah, they do feel different. Like, I don't know, just you get more wrap of your finger on the bar, so you feel like you have a little bit more of a controlled grip, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, that normal mode was really nice for the pace that we were doing and stuff. This in sport now kind of feels kind of on or off-ish, which is what I originally expected, but it's awesome that I was able to like remember to check sport mode and put it in that. And now we have both examples. It does have considerable more push than I expected it to, and it does not have the same response to grabbing the brake or stabbing the brake in the corner in terms of setting the front and turning in. It doesn't really seem to change its trajectory too much, which was a really nice thing on that 600RR, where you could just kind of stab the brake a little, and it'll set the front and it'll carve it right out and increase your rate or decrease your radius, I guess. Increase, decrease, either way. You stab the brake, it'll start turning in way harder, whereas this just kind of continued on its same trajectory until you really kind of started to slow it down. I am noticing on this my left foot getting a little warm. Right foot exhaust side feels totally fine. Left foot is kind of a little reminisce of riding the 1200 again. think if you wanted a 600 class machine and you rode really rough stuff like Tug Hill, that 600RR in a Lynx would be really, really good. This has me thinking big time for a Canada sled though, to replace the 1200. Ooh, look at that thing. Oof. Here we go. I was just talking about if you were going to be 600 class in Tug Hill, this would be the move. The sound difference, okay, that's cool. That's cool to note. The sound difference between this 600R and the RR is very, very noticeable. I feel like the overall noise level is probably very similar, but the tone and the pitch of it is definitely very different. This kind of has that buzzier 600R. That has the sound that we all know from the 600R. Whereas that one back there is just different. I'd have to ride it again to try to really explain the difference, or maybe I can overlay some of the audio, but okay, that RR even in break-in is noticeably more power than this, and I'm not just saying that to try to jazz that thing up. They both have, I think, the same 1.25" ripsaw ice ripper jobby on them. This makes the noise but doesn't feel like it's propelling you anywhere. Even though the 600RR, like I said, doesn't have like this punch or like a hit in the bottom, you still get that propulsion feeling. You're moving along, you're increasing speed. This kind of just made the noise but didn't really feel like I was moving along or gaining speed. I'm blipping the throttle real similar, and I'm going to not talk, kind of like I did on the 600RR, so you can hear the difference. This just sounds and responds like it has 4 pounds more on the flywheel. I'm really curious now if that XRS, the 600RR, is a 129. Because of the way it rotates on the brake, it may just, well, not just, but may largely be in part if it's a 129 to that, but I don't know for sure. I will put a little header caption jobby on here, so that way, even if I'm talking about it, the truth will be on the screen. Yeah, it was interesting that guy brought that up. That 900R did not feel to drop into the tracks in front of you nearly as much as this 600 does, and the 600RR did as well. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, the mid-range partial, like half to 3/4 throttle response of this traditional R is not the same. There is a very, very noticeable difference there, where, like I said, the RR just feels like it starts to move you along. Again, you don't have that torquey hammer hit in the bottom, but it feels like it moves you along way quicker than the traditional previous 600R did. It's interesting. This makes noises. But I don't get that, oh boy, I'm coming on to Rusty real quick feeling I did on the other one. The other one I kept having to check up real hard on the brake. This I can do those little pulls I don't feel like I'm getting there as fast. Yeah, like I don't feel like I'm really. Yeah, that 600RR is sweet. Other interesting note, I don't feel on this 600R Lynx, I don't feel like I need to move around. Like it doesn't feel as naturally inviting to move side to side as it did on the 900R, and I don't know why. I think the seats are the same, but I'm not sure. That 900R just felt very natural to move side to side. Not that this doesn't feel natural, but that felt like, okay, turns coming up, boom, boom, back and forth, just naturally. Like it just felt right. This, I feel more comfortable, or more, what's the word here? Just sitting here, riding it, not moving around feels easier and more natural than moving around. But when I need to move on this, I still can, if that makes sense. It's very, very, not necessarily very difficult, but this is a thing to try to process all of this while riding and then convey it to you guys in a manner that feels natural or makes any sense at all. So hopefully a good bit of this is coming through for you. Okay, here we go. Oh, 850 Lynx action quick on our way back. The foot closeouts I do not enjoy. I like being able to roll my foot out and hook up into that stirrup. Yeah, this is what I remember from riding my buddy Chris's Lynx. You get on the throttle, it picks it up everywhere and just starts doing stuff. You gotta ride it to really go around anything fast. But it's fun at the same time. But you gotta know that going into it. Because if you don't, you buy this expecting to cruise it. It's not what you should be buying. They're not really designated to be cruisers. The sleds, you kind of have to want to ride it to make it go fast. I do not like the foot closeouts at all. This brake is adjusted a little bit close for me. Oh yeah, the screw's way out. That's better. Whoa, buddy, hang on there. Dude, the small grip bars are awesome. Those little ergonomic changes, like the seat on the 600RR and these smaller bars, kind of like, they're subtle changes that you may not really pick up on right away, but if you put a good bit of time in back to back with like the previous models, I think they will attribute to quite a bit of like less rider fatigue towards the end of the day. This thing feels great. This feels pretty sweet. I feel like we have perfect snow conditions for these Lynx out here though. Like for this ski, for this combo, you've got a great base under 3 to 4 to maybe 5 inches of fresh snow in certain spots. Like this is just perfect for these things. because you're not locking the front end down. It's not going to have enough bite with the shorter keel to try to high side you. It's going to have a little bit more predictable push throughout everything. Like this is ideal for these. Yeah, this thing could be really, really fun. Damn it. This is not good for me. They've come a long way. My disdain for the G4. But again, I don't know. All the changes and improvements to try and get the bulkhead and the geometry to work are kind of finally working, it seems like. Ooh, the Firecat. That's a nice one. That thing's clean. Yeah, these do not like. I do not like that. I like to be able to roll my foot and hook it up into that upper hold.
You're pretty consistent. I always got you right in my mirror, man.
Oh, yeah. There's some Lynx stuff. There's some Lynx action for you. Really good outside ski bite. A little bit of the high side action at the top of a little crest, and it just whoop right up. This thing is just ready to go. It wants me to just wick it up. Yep. If you get that ski dug in on something, yeesh, she does the thing that I know they do all the time. The small grip bars are huge, absolutely huge. I don't know how, if you had these and you got accustomed to them, I don't know how you could go back to a normal diameter bar. I really don't. Just like how the bar feels in your hand when you get a decent amount of bar angle in it and how much wrap of your finger you still have on the bar is crazy. That's huge to me. That I'm noticing really big time. I gotta say, these Woodford trails are really cool. The amount of elevation changes, and like, it's just the right amount of twisty without being too tight to where it's annoying. This is pretty nice. Probably gonna have to come down here more. I mean, it's an easy drive too. It's 2.5 hours, so it's essentially the same as for me going up to Island Pond. But it's a much easier drive. I just sit on Route 7 all the way down. Super easy. A tiny little G out back there, and it was like the suspension just kind of laughed, didn't really even do anything, it just went "Huh." So that's cool. The PPS3 is just untouchable. There's no rear skid that's going to handle rough stuff better than this thing. It's just kind of the end of the story. It's not even like a calibration thing about like, oh, well, you know, maybe the other brand or the other model, or our motion or whatever, the shock valving or the spring rate. Nope. Just geometry alone, you're never going to touch the PPS3. It's just not going to happen. You can probably get close. You can get compliant, but you are not going to get just 2-3 foot mogul capability with compliance like you will out of this thing. Now that corner right there, that really tight section, and a couple times earlier, it gives me that really classic small short runner, short keel feeling where the ski hooks, and it kind of does this maneuver where, like I talked about high siding, it acts like the ski gets under the sled because the runner is so short, it just hooks and does this number. And that's kind of been my biggest gripe with the pilots and similar skis that are short keel, short runner, is it's just hard to get that feeling out of them in certain conditions. But yeah, good little run.
Whoa, bumpy road. Quick outro. Huge shout out to A-Z Snowmobiles down there in Woodford for hosting that event. Lynx for hosting the event. A-Z for hosting in their lot. Chicken lunch thing, all kinds of stuff, all sorted out. Great little time, very hospitable, awesome little event. Huge bonus getting to ride the 600RR. That thing really impressed me. Every year I end up demoing something at the end of the year, and I'm just going to say I'm going to go order one of those. I'm going to go order a 600RR, probably the competition package, so it gets the Kashima shocks with the triple adjusters on all four corners. Manual pull start, all that stuff. You guys can dig into more of that on the PDFs and all the information that's out there on the Skidoo site. But proof in the pudding, the demo rides matter. If you get demo rides, you get impressions, you're going to get more sales. So corporate people watching this, keep doing demo events, keep pushing them out there. The more impressions you get, the more likely you're going to be to sell a sled like you just did with me today. So yeah, huge shout out, A-Z Snowmobiles, Lynx, everyone there involved, all the dealers that showed up, everyone that went on the test rides and all that. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.